Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, heart racing, with an urgent need to get to the bathroom? You stumble out of bed, groggy, and make your way through the dark, thinking it's just another routine trip. But what if I told you that something as simple as that bathroom visit could be putting you at serious risk for a stroke? That's exactly what happened to Margaret, a 68-year-old grandmother from Ohio, who thought her nightly bathroom dashes were harmless until a dizzy spell led to a fall that changed everything. The truth is, recent research from Johns Hopkins University shows that certain bathroom habits can increase your stroke risk by over 300% if you're over 65. That's not a small number, it's a wake-up call that could save your life. At 65, she was active, loved gardening, and never imagined a stroke could be lurking in her daily routine. But a 2023 study from the Cardiovascular Institute of California turned her world upside down, revealing that 89% of seniors are unknowingly doing something in the bathroom that spikes their blood pressure into dangerous territory. That's stroke territory, friends, and it's happening in a place we all visit every day. You can protect yourself with simple changes, and I'm here to walk you through them. This video will uncover 5 common bathroom habits that could be putting your health at risk, including the number 1 danger you need to stop today. Before we begin, let us know in the comments below where you're watching from, your age, and have you or someone you know ever had a close call or scary fall while rushing to the bathroom. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tips to thrive after 60. Let's dive into the first habit. Margaret's first wake-up call came when she learned about the dangers of holding her breath and straining on the toilet. It's not something we talk about often, but let's be real, constipation happens, especially as we get older, and many of us push a little harder than we should. Margaret was no stranger to this, often spending extra time in the bathroom trying to get things moving. But here's why this habit is so risky. When you hold your breath and strain, what doctors call the Valsalva maneuver, you're squeezing your heart and blood vessels, trapping blood in your chest. It's like pinching a garden hose and then letting it go all at once. Your blood pressure can skyrocket, putting immense pressure on the delicate vessels in your brain. A study in Taiwan followed 2,000 stroke patients and found that 22% had their stroke either on the toilet or right after. That's nearly 1 in 4 cases tied to this habit. For seniors over 65, especially those with chronic constipation, the risk of an ischemic stroke, where a clot blocks blood flow to the brain, is doubled. Margaret was shocked to learn this, especially since she'd been dealing with constipation for years. She also noticed her heart would race after straining, a sign of arrhythmias, which are irregular heart rhythms that further increase stroke risk. The scariest part? These effects can happen silently, building up over time until a vessel gives way. The fix is simpler than you might think, and Margaret started right away. Instead of forcing a bowel movement, she learned to take a break if things weren't happening. She'd stand up, walk around, and sip some water. Staying hydrated became a priority. Drinking at least 8 glasses a day kept her system softer and easier to manage. She also added fiber-rich foods to her meals, like oatmeal with berries for breakfast and a big salad with lunch. Fiber acts like a gentle broom, sweeping through your intestines and making bathroom trips smoother. Margaret began walking 15 minutes after dinner, which helped her digestion and kept her blood vessels healthier. If constipation persisted, she talked to her doctor about safe stool softeners, avoiding overuse. These small changes made a big difference, and she felt lighter and less stressed. The second habit Margaret tackled was her love for scalding hot showers. There's nothing like stepping into a steamy shower to relax, right? But for seniors, this cozy habit can be a hidden danger. When Margaret cranked up the heat, her blood vessels would dilate, opening wide like highways. Her heart had to pump faster to keep blood flowing, creating a strain that could spell trouble. For someone over 65, whose blood vessels aren't as elastic and may have plaque buildup, this sudden shift can dislodge a clot or stress arteries until they burst. Margaret realized her showers were often way too hot, leaving her feeling dizzy when she stepped out. That dizziness was a warning sign her body couldn't regulate the rapid changes in blood flow. She made a simple switch, keeping her shower temperature at or below 100 degrees, still warm and comfortable but safer. She bought a small shower thermometer to be sure and started with lukewarm water, gradually warming it up to give her body time to adjust. She also limited her showers to 10 minutes, as the Japanese study showed longer sessions increased risks. The third habit Margaret had to rethink was spending too long on the toilet, especially with her phone in hand. It's easy to turn a bathroom trip into a mini escape, scrolling through emails or catching up on news. Margaret was guilty of this, often losing track of time while reading articles on her phone. But here's why this habit is a problem for seniors. Sitting on the toilet for more than 10 minutes slows down blood flow, especially in your legs and pelvis. Blood can pool, increasing the chance of small clots forming, clots that could travel to your brain and cause an ischemic stroke, the most common type. What surprised Margaret was how her phone made things worse. The blue light from the screen disrupted her body's relaxation response, keeping her heart rate and blood pressure elevated even after she left the bathroom. Plus, hunching forward to scroll put subtle pressure on her system, triggering a low-level stress response that added up over time. For someone over 65, especially with dehydration or constipation, both common as we age, this combination is a recipe for trouble. Margaret noticed she'd sometimes feel stiff or lightheaded after long sessions, a red flag her circulation was struggling. The solution was straightforward, and Margaret jumped on it. She made a rule: no phone in the bathroom. She left it on her nightstand, turning her toilet trips into quick, focused visits. To avoid lingering, she drank plenty of water throughout the day, which helped prevent constipation and made bathroom breaks easier. If she needed to sit longer, she'd stand up, stretch, and walk a few steps to get her blood moving. The fourth habit Margaret changed was standing up too quickly after sitting on the toilet or soaking in the bath. She'd often hop up fast, eager to get back to her day, only to feel a wave of dizziness or see stars. That lightheadedness wasn't just a nuisance, it was a warning sign of orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure when you stand. When your brain doesn't get enough oxygen, even for a few seconds, your heart races, your blood pressure swings, and your arteries take a beating. Over time, this can damage blood vessels, making them more likely to clog or burst. For Margaret, the risk hit home after her fall. She'd stood up quickly after a bath, felt dizzy, and tripped, bruising her arm and shaking her confidence. If you're on blood thinners, as many seniors are, even a minor fall can be catastrophic. Margaret learned to stand up slowly, pausing for a few seconds with her feet flat on the floor. She'd take deep breaths, letting her body adjust before moving. She also asked her doctor to review her medications, as some can worsen dizziness. Now, let's tackle the fifth habit that Johns Hopkins says can increase your stroke risk by 300%. It's a shocker, but the solution is easier than you think. The final habit Margaret had to break was rushing to the bathroom, especially in the middle of the night. Like many of us, she'd wake up with a sudden urge to go, feeling like she had to race against time. In the dark, half asleep, she'd hurry across her bedroom, dodging a rug or a pair of shoes. But this habit is the most dangerous of all for seniors over 65. Rushing triggers orthostatic hypotension, that same blood pressure drop we talked about, where your brain gets less oxygen for a few seconds. You feel dizzy, lose balance, and risk falling. Margaret's fall was a wake-up call. One night, rushing to the bathroom, she tripped on a loose rug, hit her head, and ended up in the ER. Thankfully, it was just a concussion, but her doctor warned that even minor head injuries can cause microbleeds in the brain, tiny damages that weaken vessels and raise stroke risk. If you're on blood thinners, as Margaret was for her heart condition, a fall can trigger a hemorrhagic stroke, where bleeding in the brain can be life-threatening. The scariest part? These risks can linger, with clots or bleeds building silently weeks after a fall. Margaret made changes that transformed her nights. She stopped rushing, no matter how urgent it felt. When she woke up, she'd sit on the edge of her bed for a moment, flexing her feet to get her blood flowing. She turned on a nightlight, hers clips right onto her bedside table, and cleared her path of clutter, tucking away rugs and shoes. She started wearing non-slip slippers, perfect for her tile floor, and added a grab rail near the toilet for extra support. If the urge to go was frequent, she talked to her doctor about managing nighttime trips, learning that cutting back on evening coffee helped. Margaret's journey is proof that small changes can make a big difference. By easing constipation with water and fiber, cooling her showers, keeping toilet trips short, standing slowly, and never rushing, she slashed her stroke risk and reclaimed her confidence. 4 months later, she's back to gardening, hosting book club, and even teaching her grandkids to bake, living fully without fear. These 5 habits, straining, hot showers, lingering, quick standing, and rushing, aren't just risks, they're opportunities to protect yourself. They all started with one step, and you can too. Thanks for joining me, friends. Here's to healthy hearts and happy days. See you next time.